Hello and welcome. I hope you're all doing well and taking all the precautions to stay safe. Well, as you all know, COVID 19 has brutally affected all of us, and we've all suffered some personal loss or the other. And due to this unprecedented crisis, we're all facing a very hard situation and finding it tough to stay positive. And that is why we have a very special guest today, Dr. Roma Kumar, who's an eminent psychologist and a senior consultant. And she will guide us on how to create a positive environment in these times of dearth, depression, and death.
Thank you, Ruchira. And it's my pleasure to be with you.
Thank you so much. So, my first question is, of course, about the constant barrage of SMSs, desperate messages, shortage of beds, shortage of oxygen, and there's so much of grief and despair. So, how does one really cope up?
I agree that the times are really uncertain at this point. It wasn't the same last year, but currently with the second wave and with the predicted third wave, I think people are getting more and more panicking. And, there's something known as something which is in my control and something that is not in my control. So there are certain things which is just not in our control. And if I keep on as a person, go on thinking about something, I wish this was happening. I wish I was able to get in oxygen. I wish I was trying to, get this place or the bed. I think I'm depriving myself of those little moments of happiness that I have with the person at the moment. So I think we need to differentiate between healthy fear and unhealthy fear.
Mm-hmm. So how would you define the two, unhealthy and healthy?
Yeah, healthy is something which I can find a solution and I know there is a solution and I can do it. That is in my control. Unhealthy is something which is making me overwhelmed, something which is creating anxiety and panic, and I have no solution to that, but I'm running against pillar and post to find some solution.
But, we are all staring at death, depression, death. So, in this kind of a scenario, and of course, there's so much of news and over information coming. So, keeping a positive environment in your house is also becoming a challenge. So, how does one create a positive environment where you do not give into more anxiety and stress?
Well, as I said, that certain things are just into my, purview and I can control it. There is also something what we are all going through is anticipatory grief. We don't have anything at the moment in our house, or maybe somewhere around, I don't have any issues. But maybe I start feeling that maybe I'm imagining that in the future, something like this is going to happen.
Might happen to me.
So, yes. So, I would suggest that everybody needs to be in the present moment and not think of what might happen. Or because it might happen, I must have a concentrator in the house. I must have an oxygen cylinder in the house. I must hold some medicines also.
I think as a helpless spectator, while the second wave is wreaking havoc mentally, physically, at all levels. So as a helpless spectator, you can only do that. Either you hoard or you help. You can either, do one of these things. So it's, I think, a human reaction to the situation.
Yes. So there is something which is also known as that you can be compassionate. You can help the other human beings, which we are seeing. That there are so many unknown people coming from somewhere. They are angels who are coming in and helping. And that is compassion. And that's where we should put in our energy. What is in my control and what is not in my control, I need to let go.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a good advice, actually, to try and help instead of always living in fear.
Yeah.
So I also wanted to ask you specifically about, the numbers when it comes to mental health are really scary. And especially, I read a recent research that India is one of the most depressed countries in the world. And all that has obviously been aggravated by COVID situation. So what can one do as a family, as a unit? And my concern is especially about young children. So what are the signs to look for in children or in adults for that matter, when you feel that somebody is going, on the other side?
So you rightly said that the research is talking about India being a very depressed country and lots of people in depression and in denial that there is depression. Now the problem happens that you are denying that you have a problem. Let's accept that mental and emotional health issues are present in anybody and everybody. Somebody has it little, somebody has it more, and somebody is able to cope and somebody is just not able to cope. So let's address these areas. Let's
Mm,
help each other address these emotional health issues and
mm,
not create a stigma and say, you talk to me in the family and everything is going to be fine. I wish it was that simple. You could
mm,
do the same for your toothache and not go to the doctor and talk to the family and get rid of the pain. That's not possible. So let's understand that this is an area where you have emotional pain, and
mm,
let's get hold of people who can address that for you. There are many feelers that you can get in the house if the child has any of I would not say just depression, but
mm,
anxiety or is panicking,
mm,
that there is a changed form of appetite that the child is having. The
mm,
child is more quieter than before, or the child is even getting more angrier than before, and
mm,
the anger is coming in from nowhere, you feel.
mm,
Uh, Having poor sleep patterns, or different sleep patterns,
mm,
not making too much of eye contact, withdrawing from having a common time together as a family, or having excessive crying spells and coming and wanting to sleep with both the parents, although he or she is now well trained to sleep in their own
sleep
bedroom.
alone.
Yeah. And also regression in studies, regression in academics, giving up the hobbies that you were very fond of, and
Mm,
remaining sad. Instead of asking a question to the child, why are you sad?
mm.
We've given you the world. Why are you sad? Stop doing that. Just say, I'm here for you. What is it I can do for you so that you start feeling better?
So more of reassurance and maybe less of questioning or aggravating the situation.
Yeah. So we get into a lot of criticism. We shame attack.
And moving on, I'd like to ask you especially about the way parents are handling the current situation. So parents are also overburdened with work from home, then work with children, then also work at home in the kitchen. So this work from home balance and managing children, office work, and everything is becoming quite a big issue. And I see a lot of mothers complaining about children being very clingy, even older children. So, do you have any suggestions or tips on how to tackle that?
I think now that the lockdowns have been there for a longer period of time, we've kind of gotten used to this new form of life of working from home. And
Mm,
somewhere, a lot of us are also feeling okay to be working from home, although we need some outing sometime. What it has never happened to us before. This kind of a life has not happened. So this is all uncertain, right? And these are difficult times, but we are training ourselves differently. And
mm,
our brain is very good at adapting and learning and training ourselves, which we already doing that. So I would just say clap to everybody for having done that. Also, we're not used to the fact that we have to be all the time with the children. We used to go out and come
yeah.
back. Children used to go out and come back home.
Mm.
So there were periods of not seeing each other, and so it
You
was
had more
easier to
space.
connect with each other. Yeah.
Yes.
When a child is clingy, don't trivialize his problem. There must be some issue that is bothering the child. Do not think that your problem is more than the child's problem. The child has never seen, never could believe that this could happen. There are children who've gone into nursery class, they've never seen a school, and they've completed a nursery class, and now they're in their KG prep classes. So imagine what they are going through. So, as adults, we probably still can adapt, but children are still struggling. So, let's not trivialize. Let's accept that they are going through these issues and help them move on.
Sure. But if I would ask you to outline a parenting strategy or maybe parenting strategies for parents for such time or maybe even beyond, what would that be? One is, of course, what you mentioned, that don't trivialize their fears. And second
Yeah.
was that don't criticize and also reassure. Anything else that you would like parents to keep in mind?
I think create a structure in the house.
A
There
routine.
has to be some structure which is important. We used to follow a structure even before. Better sleep routines. Eating patterns need to be looked into, especially eating a nutritious and a healthy diet where
Mm,
everybody can pitch in. And
mm,
also taking care of responsibilities. That means inculcating responsible behavior and decision making in children. So they also need to pitch into the household chores, and
mm.
not just the mother. Here, I would say not just the woman of the house, but even the man of the house needs to pitch in. And
Yes, you're right. Children are craving routine. I've been hearing from a lot of people that even the children who would rebel against routine are now actually craving it.
Yeah.
So that's a great tip. But what about children who are uncontrollable and the rebel? You know, rebel without a cause. So how does one tackle with those?
That's a tough question. uh, Children will, misbehave. Children will create problems. They will have tantrums because they know it no better how to get more attention. Not that parents are not giving attention, but
Hmm.
they are seeking more and more attention. So let's absorb them in various activities. When you are absorbed, give them also some activities to get absorbed. And it's all right to not sit at one place. It's
Hmm.
all right to be mischievous. Let them know that this part of the day is
You
not
can do
an
what you want.
organized time. You can do what you want to do between 2 and 4 p.m. That is your time, right? So let them, give them a corner in the house where they can do things. Give them certain skills where they can learn. I would suggest that this is the time that we gather ourselves on a routine where we can do prayers together as a family. It will also calm us all down.
I
uh,
feel that a lot of children may be facing anxiety, and I'm specifically talking about pre-teens here, or teens, teenagers, or pre-teenagers. So they don't want to really talk to their parents, and they could be dealing with huge anxiety issues, and also that there is no physical interaction, there's no physical exercise. So how can one advise them or reassure them that they can come and talk to us, or maybe if not to their parents, talk to someone else?
I think children ape adults and children ape, parents. So as a parent, you can always sit down and chat with your child sometimes that this is what happened with me today at the office or at work, and can you give me suggestions on what I can do? You are engaging in meaningful, productive conversations with children, and not conversations which are around you are not studying and you are wasting your time, you are unhygienic, you have not taken a shower, you're all the time on screen. So instead of focusing on that, I think
Criticism.
focus on other meaningful conversations, and leave that portion out where the child starts feeling that I'm being shamed, or I'm being disrespected, or it's hurting me the way you're talking to me. Do not negate that. Assist and ask the child, what is it I as a parent can do? What are the suggestions you're looking for me? Can we talk about it? Instead of saying, why are you feeling like that? Instead of the whys, look at the what I can do.
And what about balancing the school work with the unstructured setup at home, or children being at home for so many days, and of course school work? So how does one kind of balance? Should we just tell them that okay, these 2 hours are only for studies, or should we let them do it when they please?
No, I think children love to be in structure. It's a myth that they don't like that
But they
structure.
they seem to
Yeah.
rebel to structure.
Well, well, that's what as parents we see. But you
Hmm.
can always pick up a time and sit down and have a conversation. Okay, which part of the day, from the time you get up until evening,
Sleep.
which part of the day you think can we allot for studies? You give us that suggestion. But there are terms and conditions for that. That during that time there is no music, there is no other screen, everything will be away. And whether you study or you don't study, you will have to be in the room with the books. Sometimes you've had a big argument or a disagreement in the house with your spouse, and you're hiding it in front of children, and children are way too smart. They already know there is
They
a
can assess. Yeah.
argument, and they are testing you. So don't lie to children. Tell them facts.
That's a very good advice. I think, yeah, even I'm probably guilty of doing that. Brushing children away is something we tend to do often.
By saying you're too small, you don't
Or
understand.
sometimes,
No,
yeah, I
children
don't have the
understand.
time or the bandwidth for it.
Yeah.
But yes, true.
So I can always say, if I don't have the bandwidth now, I can say, yes, that's a very
I'll
good
talk to you later.
question. I will talk to you at this time, and make sure that you
You
talk at
do
that
it.
time.
True, true. You're right. Children are mirrors of whatever we do. So, one last question, which is again a very pertinent one at this time, is that now we see a lot of children coping up with not just stress, anxiety, they're actually coping up with isolation or sometimes even loss of a parent, and in some very heartbreaking situations of both parents. So, what would you suggest for them and for their caregivers of their family members? How can we explain or make them comprehend what they have experienced?
Well, I'm currently seeing number of families where the children have lost either a parent or both the parents. I'm also seeing children where they have lost the entire family, which is including the grandparents, and they are the
It's
only
really
ones
hard.
left. Yes, it's very tough. It's very tough for people like us also to connect with them and talk to them, because it's a lot of grief, which is a community grief which is
Hmm.
happening right now. Now, tell the child what has happened. Yes, we have to give child the closure. Let the child cry. Do not stop the child from crying, because the child is missing his or her parent.
Hmm.
If the child is asking, do tell the child yes, or you can slowly build it up for the child, but don't do it beyond 15-20 days. So it will go, but we have to go through those phases of grief, and each one of us goes through that phase of grief where there's denial. We deny that, no, that can't be possible. Then there's anger.
Yes.
We start bargaining, we before we
Negotiation,
accept.
yes.
Yes.
Before we come
So
to
there are
acceptance,
these.
yes.
Yes, so help the child move on with it. And also, it's important for the child to let him, if he wants to talk to his friend, let the child talk. Don't let
Sure.
him shy away from talking and saying, nahi, ye to ghar ki baat hai, kisi se nahi baat karni. He's lost a parent,
Hmm.
you
He
know,
needs to vent out.
who's, yes, he needs to vent out. And do not shirk away from talking to mental health professionals, because they are trained to listen to you and help you and give you the skills to move on in life.
Yes. Great. So thank you so much. That was very important advice, and I really hope that all our viewers could get in touch with you and get in touch with such communities and with such professionals, because it's so important to not stay pent up, and especially at this time, just get our emotions out there, talk them out, and feel better. But before we end, I'll just like to ask you a few questions about yourself and how do you tackle stress. So it'll be like a quick rapid fire, and you can just answer me fast. So the first one is that how do you de-stress?
I would just take a cup of chai and sit in my balcony and watch my garden, which I am the one who's manicuring that garden.
Okay. So what are the three things that no one knows about you?
I think I'm an open book in my family. So, well, the outside world may not be knowing I'm a very good cook, and I cook all the meals in the house, despite the fact that I'm a worker, which is long hours I'm working. So
Okay.
that's something I think people don't know about.
All right.
And I do my own groceries and vegetables, and a lot of clients meet me sometimes in those malls and everything, and they say, how come you're doing it? And I say, why won't I do it? I will definitely do it. And something that people don't know is I love getting my manicure done and my pedicure done, and I would not miss a chance. I will definitely get it done.
Great. So as soon as we have better times, you'll rush to your salons.
Yes.
Great. And what is your on your bookshelf right now? What are you reading?
The Dance of Anger by Harriet Lerner.
Mhm.
You can see it
Great.
there. It's there. Yep.
Okay. And your favorite series on any OTT platform?
Well, currently I'm watching The Inside Edge.
Okay, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Last, if you could go back in time and change something, would you want to change something in your life?
Um, I would probably want to become a thinner person.
All right. All right. Great. So thank you so much, Dr. Roma, and thank you for all of you for watching it. So as she said, do remember to take care of your body, take care of your mental health, try to eat healthy, and definitely get vaccinated as soon as possible. And together we will overcome this phase. Thank you all. Thank you for watching, and thank you, Dr. Roma, for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much.